So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Oh, yeah. Here I am. Trying to get it all together because got a lot going on. Up to the minute stuff, you know. Up to the minute stuff. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Iran, and there's been a ceasefire called and agreed to by Benjamin Netanyahu and Iran. I don't know exactly what that's going to mean, but when we get into it in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you what I think it should mean, what we ought to be doing, because I know these things. But as I was preparing the show before I left on my long journey from my Lake Norman compound into the dangerous big city to do the show, I ran across an article that deals with a subject matter that is very important to me because I think it's a growing problem in our society. And that problem is the demonization of men. So this article is from the New York Post, and it declares that it is the therapy bro summer. That's what they're calling it, the therapy bro summer, just like they had hot girl summer a couple of years ago. They always have to give things these trendy, catchy little names. But it says that more men than ever are getting help with their mental health. And while lots of reasons bring them to therapy, it's seen as a major green flag for women on the dating scene. Therapy in 2025, the hottest health craze. Therapy's undergone a bit of rebranding in the past couple of decades, with stars and social media users being increasingly more open about their experiences with anxiety, depression, and addiction, destigmatizing once super taboo subjects and inspiring more and more people to seek out help. Quote, as the stigma associated with mental health treatment continues to lift, men are definitely more proactive about seeking help in a way that previous generations of men might not have been. This is a guy named Joe Montagna, something. He's in the mental health business. So it's odd that he's telling more and more people they need to be, going to therapy and how cool it is. But while women have always tended to be a bit more comfortable talking about their feelings, no. Really? I've never noticed that. Those endowed with a Y chromosome have historically been more buttoned up. Seems talking about your feelings isn't macho. That's why it's been so notable that world-class athletes like Olympian Michael Phelps, NBA star DeMar DeRozan, and Pro Football Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins have spoken about their struggles, and shows like Shrinking on Apple TV spotlight megastars like Harrison Ford and Jason Segel in the field. Well, listen, the show Shrinking on Apple TV is very good. It's funny. It's very funny. But Harrison Ford and Jason Segel are on the show because it pays them to be on the show. The show pays them. They're not taking these roles because they want to make a difference in men's mental health. So you see right there, there's a level of dishonesty with this whole article. Then it goes on, Dr. Rachel Ginsburg says, the combination of social media, therapy, becoming mainstream in TV and movies, evolving in exciting changes to gender roles, and the fierce courage of popular celebrities and athletes have created a perfect storm of onward momentum. I often reference a scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where one of the main characters resists therapy, and after a poignant expression of his feelings, he yells, "You unzipped me!" But it's not just that men are depressed. Many are simply seeking a better understanding of themselves in an effort to be happier. What women want? Women want to be with men who are self-aware, emotionally intelligent. That's a buzzword, a term that they're using now. Emotionally intelligent. And good listeners with the capacity to notice, feel, validate, and step outside of themselves to really see and care for the other, said Ginsburg. They want to be with men who have both humility and confidence and are not afraid to reflect, grow, call themselves out, and communicate. And the article goes on and on and on in this manner. Now, we have a therapy problem in our society now. It seems like everybody under 40 is in some sort of therapy or on some kind of medication. Not to say that there aren't people who really do need therapy and medication. That would be stupid for me to say that or even insinuate that. That is not the truth. But not everybody needs therapy. Not everybody needs to have somebody sit and listen to them and validate them and all of this, especially men. You see, because what's happened is that this liberal leftist culture of ours and the media has made men feel like they are, or we are, the enemy of everything. Why do you not see so many things going around and telling women how they need to change, how they need to evolve? If a woman needs to evolve, she's being told that she needs to be stronger and stop caring what people think and all of that. But a man needs to evolve to be more like women. That's the key. We need to emasculate men in our society in order to have them do what we think, we as the left, we as the squishy, we as the mental health community, what we need men to be. And the best way to get men to change and do things differently is by telling them that what they're doing isn't what women want. So they make these guys think that a woman wants some, little sad mouth clown walking around submissive to everything she says and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case. You know what women want? Men. That's what women want. Oh, sure. They may go through, the leftist women may go through this trial period where they're dating, little European types, like that guy we had on the show that I featured that night that was squealing and screaming because his wife was getting rid of the snake that was in the yard. That's what they think they want till they try it. And then they're like, If somebody tried to take me into an alley in the street, he would run and scream. I need a man. Women want men. But in their constant effort to tear down the societal norms in our country, these leftists, these therapists who are just trying to get as many people to be customers as they possibly can, they're trying to emasculate men. They want men to feel like they're second class or lower than second class. They want the power, what they consider to be the power structure, to flip. Like you're either walking around as a feminine man, effeminate, or you're a brute and your wife is a part of the handmaid's tale. And it's dangerous for a society that wants to survive and continue to be strong and tough. Now, this stretches on into, and it's gotten its tentacles into many, many different aspects of our culture. And I'll break down a few of them, and I will probably ruin your television watching from here on out, or at least make it a little more difficult if you're a man for people to watch TV with you because they won't want to hear all of this. But we got to be strong. So we'll get into all that coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up.
If you want some of the most delicious pork products you have ever had, then you need to make an order at Big Fork Brands. That's right. Big Fork is at tjritchie.com/deals, and when you use the code TJ, you'll save 20%. It's Big Fork.
Hey, it's TJ, and the TJ Ritchie Show will be a multi-touch marketing option for all the cool businesses in town. I have no idea what that means. That was written by our business department, obviously, for me to read. If you're a cool business, I guess you know what it means. So go to tjritchie.com and find out more.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Okay, so we got more here about this so-called therapy bro summer, where the people in the mental health profession and the media, and I'm guessing feminists will have a lot to do with the pushing of this as well, saying that it's cool for men to be in therapy no matter what. You can always better yourself. This is what women want. Just like what this doctor said, quote, women, this is the main part, women want to be with men who are self-aware, emotionally intelligent, and good listeners with the capacity to notice, feel, validate, and step outside of themselves to really see and care for the other. Now, that just sounds like a bunch of gibberish, but it's not really. It translates to women want men to stop being their natural, themselves naturally, like what a natural man is supposed to be, the way a man was born to be, born with the design from God. Women want to be with men who act like women, is what this person's saying. That's what it means. That's why a lot of times you have to be so careful. I'm not, again, it's the disclaimer, I'm not saying that couples therapy is always bad. Never saying that. But you do have to be very selective and aware of the therapist you choose if you're going to go to couples therapy, because a lot of them, men and women, therapists, their goal is to validate the woman's feelings and emasculate the men. That's what they know. That's how they know to do it. Okay? So this has been a trend for a long time. You know, we've been hearing about the war on masculinity, and, you know, when masculinity started being described as toxic. Oh, everything's toxic. Toxic masculinity. This is a toxic relationship. That work environment was toxic. It's not toxic masculinity for a man to be a man. You know, it's always, you know, a double standard when it comes to, like I said earlier, how women are supposed to be understood by men. You're supposed to go out of your way to understand where she's coming from and know her needs and validate her and so forth and so on, which is fine. That's good. But too often when you tell a woman that, she gets defensive and she all of a sudden, and you're just telling her to be a slave to a man. Respect him. Well, why would you put it that way? Men want to be respected. Here's how simple men are. And I'm talking about good men, men that you would consider sharing your life with, not some jerk, some misogynist that's really a misogynist, somebody who's just, a bad guy. I'm talking about your average guy in the United States, an average guy who would be considered a good person. When he gets married, his goal in life is to make his wife happy. The worst thing she can be to him is unhappy. That's the worst thing that can happen to a husband, is for his wife to be unhappy. But what he wants from her is to be respected and desired. That's it. Women want to be supported. Women want to be helped in sharing the household duties, and they want to be respected, and they want to be viewed as and appreciated, and all of that, which is great. It's fine. But there are a bunch of things that are thrown at men constantly, that you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. That's all men want. They want to be respected by their wives, and they want to be desired. That's how simple men are. Simple creatures. If you show that you are that you are proud of your husband, and you think that he is fantastic and he is strong, and you appreciate what he does for the family, and you let him know it, and then you let him know that you desire him, he will walk through a forest fire with gasoline draws on to get you an ice cream cone if you want it. So what happens is, in these relationships, you get women who complain because their husband doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, he doesn't respond to this, he acts like he doesn't hear me, But when it goes long enough where your husband feels like you don't respect him, where you're always treating him like a child, like you do the kids, you put him in the same category with the kids, the way you talk to him, the way you act to other people, like he wouldn't even know how to get by without me. No. Then he's going to look at it like, well, what good does it do me? I do all this stuff. She doesn't appreciate it. She doesn't respect me. She doesn't even like me. But it's deeper than that, because society has demonized men so much. Now, especially masculine white men. I didn't say heterosexual white men. I said masculine white men. Because you can be gay, but act masculine, and you're still on the list of the bad guys. Society is at a point right now where as a whole, masculine white men are considered to be so offensive that you can't even put them as the lead in your commercials for your products, for your company, unless you put them in there as the idiot that's going to be shown up in the commercial as being an idiot, and so forth and so on. Think about how many car commercials you used to see. Let's say, 15 years ago. How many car commercials did you see where the woman was driving and the man is sitting in the passenger seat with the kids in the back and he's dealing with the kids? Never. Those weren't the roles. Now, if you see a masculine white man driving the family in a commercial, a TV commercial, it is rare. They will go out of their way, a lot of these companies, to make sure that a masculine white man is not seen as a positive figure for their products because it's too offensive. That's where we've gotten. Now, if you haven't noticed that yet and you start noticing it, I'm going to warn you. You start pointing it out every time it happens to the people in the room with you, they're going to start getting mad at you. But then you turn to them and go, well, if they were demonizing who you are and saying that your type is so offensive that you can't even be in TV commercials, wouldn't you be upset by it? If you were walking around as societal enemy number one by the left in this country, wouldn't you want to point it out and try to get other people to join you and say, hey, this isn't right? I wish that I could make a list, just like a growing list that I could post online. Every time I see an ad for a product that you can tell they went out of their way not to put a masculine white man in it when it would have traditionally been that. Then we could show, hey, these are the ones that, you know, white men, masculine white men, they think we're too offensive to society. So maybe our money should go somewhere else. Maybe that would get them to change it. It's got to start somewhere to get the entire idea that men need to stop being men. And if you're still acting like a man, you need to go let some therapist fix that. Get out of here. We have traditional roles in our society. Every society does. And when you break down those societal roles, the entire society crumbles. And they know that. That's the goal. That's the goal of men being women and women being men. And you don't need to have kids, and you don't need to do this, and you don't need to. Who says that you have to do this just because you're a man or just because you're a woman? Those are the people. Those are the devils on your shoulder. And then you know who the angel is on the other shoulder telling you it's not right? Me. Angel TJ. TJ Angel. Whew. I done started sweating up in here. All right. We'll get the latest on the Iran situation. The number here is 704-570-1110 if you want to say something. Go on, say something. We'll get to all that next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
Hey, it's TJ, and the TJ Ritchie Show will be a multi-touch marketing option for all the cool businesses in town. I have no idea what that means. That was written by our business department, obviously, for me to read. If you're a cool business, I guess you know what it means. So go to tjritchie.com and find out more.
He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your listening to this show and being part of the TJ Radio family. I'm going to be doing a lot with y'all as a family. I got things planned. I got all kinds of family activities planned. Can't tell you any of them right now because I haven't gotten approval by the radio station to do them. I guess I'm going to have to first ask the radio station before they will give me approval. That's the first thing. So just know I'm working on it. I got 2 jobs going here. I still do a syndicated morning show every day. Oh, I'm coming in here and busting loose with all of this, too. Okay. What's going on in the Middle East? Okay. This evening, there has been a ceasefire that has been called and agreed upon by Israel and Iran. I don't know what it means. President Trump made a statement. He said, congratulations to all involved. And they're going to have 12 hours with whatever they've already had planned and in motion, and then they'll have 24 hours. Iran will have to cease firing first, and then Israel will cease firing and monitor them and so forth and so on. I really hope that this is not one of those situations where we say, okay, well, we disarmed them and now business as usual. See, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those people that says, I don't want a full scale war or all that. I don't really want a full scale war, but I also don't want Iran to be under the leadership of these psychos anymore. I would like to see, and again, this is my personal opinion. What do I know? I would like to see the Ayatollah Khomeini taking an eternal dirt nap. I would like to see someone patting him in the face with a shovel, as well as anybody else who's been part of that brutal dictatorship over there that has killed Americans, wounded Americans, killed their innocent citizens, and all of the rest. All of the terror proxies from Iran that have attacked us through the years. The people who took our hostages in 1979. That's when all of this started with these maniacs. I want to see them gone. I want to either see them slaughtered like Israel did in the first wave, and they slaughtered so many of the Iranian military leaders, or I want to make sure that they are in prison with, right there alongside all of the people that they have imprisoned for stepping out of line. They're brutal. I want no chance of those maniacs or people who are like-minded taking over Iran again and picking it back up in however many years, whether it's 1 year or whether it's 10 years or whatever. I don't want them acting the same way and threatening the world and putting terror cells all over the world the way they've done all these years. I'm sorry if that makes me a hawk, but I don't want to hear death to America one more time out of them. But according to, I think it's one of Obama's ex-employees on some stupid MSNBC show, death to America doesn't mean death to America. Listen.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs says, your point that you made before, Katie, it speaks to this, which is that he's not explaining what the issues are for America. What are the issues for America? Why is it a foundational issue for Trump that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon? Why is this something that the U.S. should be involved in? Why are we allied with Israel?
He says because they chant death to America.
They chant death to America. I went to Iran in 2014. I was sitting at a rally. These young guys were chanting death to America. I had a minder. I said, what are they saying? They're saying death to America. They finished the chant, and two young men came over and said, are you American? I said, yes. We want to welcome you to our country. We love American culture and love American movies. They wanted to talk about all these things. Iran is the most Western nation in the whole Middle East. We have much more in common with them than a lot of countries that we do have alliances with.
Yeah. Well, did you ask them to hold your purse while you were at it? Yeah, that's the only reason Trump says they can't have a nuclear weapon is because something about how they chant sometimes they chant death to America. Oh yeah, that's the only reason, you idiot. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, they would hold the world hostage with it. If they could deliver nuclear weapons, nuclear warheads, nuclear missiles, bombs, they would hold the world hostage because they're maniacs. And you can bet they would fire them right in the middle of Israel. And once they got the capability to fire them into the United States, they would do it. So, not only do I say take them out, this leadership, Yeah, regime change. Okay, I said it. I don't care whether they replace them with anybody or not. I just want them gone. And then they better not replace them with somebody who's going to act the same way. And you know what else? I'm gonna go this far and say what I've said already a million times. When we liberate them by killing these dictators, these maniacs, then take the oil. Take the oil. Split it. The profits with the Iranian people as long as their leaders are acting right. But we take it. Because we earned it. If we end up completely liberating Iran, why should we not take the oil and split it with them? And then that would cause peace in the Middle East. I'm telling you. Get all of these Iranian proxies out of the way, all of these terrorists, all these Islamists, these third century goons, take them out. Put me in charge. Although I don't want to, I got to be somewhere where I can get a pool or a beach or something. I mean, an ocean. I got to chill. I'm going to live in the desert. Can you see my wife living amongst a bunch of scorpions too? Oh, she's too prissy for that. But anyway, maybe I could run Iran by Zoom every day. I could do that. Yeah. All right, so we have some lighthearted stuff coming up about Hollywood people and what they're saying. Oh, this is the best. It's the absolute best. Hang on for that.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Pet hair can cause havoc on your washer and your dryer. You know, you've done a load of laundry, you've washed it, you take it out of the dryer, and then you realize it's still covered in hair. That's because pet hair can get clogged up in your washing machine. Luckily, there is an awesome product called the Pet Hair Dissolver. It's an enzymatic formula that you just dump in your washing machine, and it actually eliminates the pet hair, resulting in cleaner, fresher clothes. Here's how to get it. Go to tjritchie.com/deals. That's where you'll find the Pet Hair Dissolver. Again, it's tjritchie.com/deals. It's the best price you'll find on it anywhere.
So there's a reason that the Dewdrops are the #1 seller in the Love Into skincare line. They're my absolute favorite if I'm dry, dull, just need a little pick-me-up during the day, which a lot of times I do. The other day I was in the car line picking up Delilah from kindergarten, and I just was feeling dry and dull. I put some on, and when I got to the space to pick her up, the teacher that opened the door said, "Lindsay, your skin looks amazing." I said, "Oh my God, thank you." It's the Love Into Dewdrops. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 21% off.
Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Well, I know I am gaining no favor with the people in the quote-unquote right, on the right, who are isolationists, like Aunt Tucker, hysterical Aunt Tucker, and a lot of other podcasts, social media type people who just came into politics a couple of minutes ago, thinking they know more than people who have been in it their entire lives in the conservative movement, like Mark Levin, the great one, Mark Levin. That's laughable. I even posted under one of them today. He had said something about neocon Mark Levin says, blah, blah, blah. I said, I bet you don't have the guts to debate Mark Levin. Clown. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene posted a video, or maybe she was on one of those shows, and said, 6 months in, we're turning back on campaign promises. We bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. Okay. What do they want? And she has been riding on Trump's coattails since the very beginning. Miss ultra conservative Marjorie Taylor Greene, in the primary, when it first began, all Trump had to do was say, I don't like Ron DeSantis anymore. And she just starts blasting Ron DeSantis. And let me tell you something. As a leader, as intellect goes, she couldn't carry his boots from place to place for him, Ron DeSantis. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, she's talking trash about Trump now, broken promises. Trump has said from day one, even before he was in politics, when he was still a Democrat, he was saying Iran can't get a nuclear weapon. And since he's been in office and on all campaign trails, I will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. So what campaign promise did he break? But I'm still voting for Marjorie Taylor Greene if I lived in Georgia or wherever she's from. I think Georgia, over a Democrat any day. You can always say that. That's the silver lining about these people. At least they're not Democrats. Even though they're agreeing with the most radical Democrats like Bernie Sanders, they're on the same side. Now, I promised you Hollywood, so I'll give you Hollywood. Hey. So the brains in Hollywood, these giant-brained people, have spoken out. They've taken to the blue sky. Now, you may not know what blue sky is. It's the liberal version of X, formerly Twitter, because when Elon Musk took over Twitter and said it's going to be a free speech media platform, they couldn't stand it, so they go over to blue sky. And, I mean, if you want to see an online nut house, go to Blue Sky and check it out. Let's see. Mia Farrow. Who cares? Nobody knows who Mia Farrow is anymore. Mark Hamill. Here we go. People still kind of know who he is because he was Luke Skywalker. He blue skied. I hate when I go to bed early on Saturday night and wake up Sunday morning only to discover we've gone to war in the Middle East without the consent of Congress. Doesn't know what he's talking about. George Takei. From Star Trek, bombing Iran is a great way to distract from how your administration is bombing everywhere else. You know why he's famous, George Takei? For being gay, for being flamboyantly gay. That's why he's famous. People think he's fun and funny. He hadn't had a role since Star Trek, I don't think. And Lizzo, I mean, pop singer Lizzo, blue skied. Just a reminder, they're not bombing for peace. They're bombing to assert dominance. War is never about what they say it is. It is always about money and who has the nuclear power. The U.S. is a military state. Ever since its creation in 1787, it's been designed for war. We've never known peace. What are you talking about? Sometimes I wonder if they have people who tell them what to say and all of this, or they just wake up and decide, this is what I'm going to say because I heard people say it. Do they have people who are writing these things for them? If that's the case, then they need to fire these people because they're making them sound like more, bigger and bigger idiots every day. John Cusack. He said, Trump throws world into terminal chaos. No one can, quote unquote, win unless they put boots on the ground. So, I mean, I didn't realize that John Cusack was a general now and knew how to, the only way to send troops into battle to win. He said, so misery and death will reign supreme. Oh, and Trump has made sure Iran raises Israel and guarantees Iran will now get a nuclear bomb. Oh, so by destroying every type of nuclear centrifuge that they may have, every bit of uranium that they are turning into nuclear or trying to turn into nuclear bombs, then, all of their enrichment programs and everything, that has guaranteed they're going to have a nuclear bomb. See, Obama's way was to feed it along to them and let them have it gradually, because then it would take a long time for them to have a nuclear bomb. Trump's way and Netanyahu's way is to destroy their ability to do it. That's what's going to cause them to have one. You see how stupid these people are? How many drugs have burnt the minds of these, especially these old Hollywood people like John Cusack? I don't know. Maybe he's never done drugs. It's more disappointing if he hasn't, because then he's just that stupid. At least if he had burned his mind with drugs, you could say, he's just burnt. He's done so much, heroin or whatever else. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's saying. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Sad. And that John Cryer, too, he's another one. That is, he was Ducky on one of those 80s movies. He was in all the Brat Pack 80s movies and stuff. And then he was on 2.5 Men. Perfect name for him, because that's all he does, cry on the phone. John Cryer. Oh. I don't even know how people take these Hollywood people seriously anymore. They're just so hysterically dumb. And it seems like it's the same ones that keep popping out. Popping out and popping off. That's what they do. Popping out and popping off. But you can tell they feel it. They feel the nation not caring about what they say anymore. We don't care. The only way we care is to get a laugh out of them, because Trump is making fools out of them every day. Multiple times a day. That's what I'm going to say. All right. Whole lot more coming up. We're just getting started, and we got to pack it all into 1 hour. Coming up, we'll start it next.
More of the TJ Ritchie.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, it is going strong. The TJ Ritchie Show. It's my new political podcast on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT, and you need to sign up and get all the inside scoop on everything and get the special little perks by being a member of the Ritchie Gang. Be a gangster. Just go to tjritchie.com and sign up today.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Yay. Before we go any further, there are some personal things in my life I would like to share. One, today is my daughter, my firstborn. Today's her 25th birthday. So happy birthday. Her name is Baby Girl. Angel Face Baby Girl is 25 today. Secondly, I know you're all busy as my radio family and all. You got a lot of things going on in your lives, but I don't mind telling you, I'm a little disappointed. Nay, I am hurt that not a single one of you, none of the 11 of you listeners, has sent as much as a congratulatory note to me through an email on LSU winning the College World Series yesterday. Knowing that I'm a Louisiana native, knowing what that meant to me, not a single one of you. Now, I know that I've only been here on WBT for a month, But I have been a Charlotte radio icon for over 25 years. There should have been banners waving along my commute route when I was coming in tonight. But no, not a thing from y'all. And I won't forget it. Trust me. And then I got a text message from my mama today. My mama still lives in Louisiana. She said, Richie, you're doing a wonderful job on your new show. I love and miss you so much, and I'm so proud of you. However, would it kill you to mention your wonderful mother more often? No, it wouldn't. So I'm mentioning my wonderful mother. And no, my mama doesn't call me by my last name. Richie is my real first name. TJ is my radio name for so many years. So just trying to use them both. I think Richie is a lot cooler of a name. It's cute. As a matter of fact, it's adorable. It is adorable. What did I say we were doing, Isaac? We're going to do a ice update, a raid update? Is that what we're doing? Oh, okay. Cool. So, there's still, even with all of the stuff going on with Iran and how we've just destroyed all of their nuclear capabilities and all of that, could maybe say that we've saved the world from the maniacs in Iran that run the joint. They're still trying to milk this whole ICE raids and riots and all of that stuff. Protests, I'm sorry. So, I think I may have told you to get the wrong sound bites ready, Isaac. Which ones did I tell you? I tell you Jasmine Crockett on this? Okay. Not that, I told you the wrong thing. That's for the next Iran update. So, I'm going to be a big professional here, and I'm going to say I did say I'm for open borders, right? That's the one clip, and then there's one called Is It Transphobic? Okay, can you have that one ready, please? Vance calls Alex, and then Jose Padilla. Okay, now we're set. All right. So with the protests and all that going on, let's start with the I'm for open borders clip. Listen to this.
Would you say any immigration law is an unjust law?
I'm for open borders, man. No people are illegal anywhere. This is all our planet.
And do you think that would work out well for America to have open borders?
Whatever would happen, would happen.
I mean, if anybody came into your house, would you ask them to leave?
No, I'm done with this.
Yeah, walks away. Just it. That's the way they are. That's the way they look at things. Like I was talking about the other night. They got to get to their safe space. Now, that guy, I think, was a paid protester, and he's not giving the rundown. He just said, hey, go out here for $40 today and say these things. So Alex Padilla is the senator from California last week that rushed the stage during the press conference with Kristi Noem and didn't identify himself. And he could have asked her questions the right way as a senator behind the scenes, whatever. He wanted to make a scene. He wanted to get detained, and then he wanted to put on a show from then on to raise money and pretend like, he was just being a U.S. senator, just being thrown in prison by the rulers and dictators. This was him still crying about it making it out like he was just, so mistreated. This is slide 1. So the Jose Padilla.
Your response to him calling you Jose?
Oh, he knows my name. He knows my name.
Talking about J.D.
Sadly,
Vance.
it's just an indicator of how
he's crying.
petty and unserious this administration is. But he's the vice president of the United States. You think he'd take the situation in Los Angeles more seriously? You think maybe he'd take a moment to talk to some of the families who have been impacted, have been terrorized, to feel what's really going on the ground. You saw him shaking hands with Marines, but did he listen to the Marines? Because we have, the report after report of the Marines, so many of the Marines themselves that don't want to be there. That's not why they enlisted. Or if not the migrant families, how about the employers who I know are speaking up because they're concerned about their workforce? Or how about this? Just take a moment and talk to the sheriff of Los Angeles County. Talk to the chief of police of Los Angeles City and hear from them their frustration for the lack of communication.
Okay. So, nobody had heard of Senator Padilla until, 15 minutes ago. And he's already cried 3 times and whined in front of the cameras and put on a show. By the way, this is what he's talking about, J.D. Vance, not even knowing his name. This is Vance calls Alex Jose.
Democrat lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump. When all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building. We ought to call them out for doing what they're doing, which is grandstanding. And if they want to work seriously on border enforcement and on keeping their communities safe, the Trump administration's door is wide open.
Yes. Totally agree, because why I agree with that so much is because J.D. Vance stole that from me. First, the president stealing my foreign policy, talking about bully on the playground thing, which he got directly from me. Now the vice president's taking my stuff. Somebody in the 11 listeners is leaking my stuff to these powerful figures. But I ain't mad at them. Hey. Do what you got to do, as long as we know that that's all my material. All right. Something is transpiring that I told you about, and it's following along exactly the way I said it was going to. So the crazy mayor of Chicago is coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
Have you seen these awesome glasses TJ's daughter Lainey found? They're called Aquila, and they're 10% off when you use code TJ at checkout at aquila.la and the deals page at tjritchie.com.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
All right. This is a problem tonight. You know what the problem is? Is that I put too much work into preparing this show. Oh. Too many important things happening. Let's slow it down so I can just, take the time to ramble and drift off into no man's land of thought. Instead, I got all this important stuff to do. Okay. Back to it. I always want to shine a spotlight whenever possible on Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson, because I truly feel like he is a slimy worm of a human. He does appear to hate white people, but just as harmful, he aims to control and manipulate black people and to do them no good. Now, he's black, and I was telling you last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, how he is purposely doing things to break the law because he wants to be. This is the thing with these Democrat leaders now, or these professional Democrats. They want to do stuff that's going to get them arrested or slapped down legally or something like that, so then they can go and pretend to be victims and then say, I'm a victim just like you and I'm fighting for you and all this stuff. So he came out and said that he was going to be, playing preferences to black people about jobs and contracts with the city, and black people are just better and all of these kinds of things, which is unconstitutional. So he wants to get told that he can't do it and be brought up on charges or whatever they would do, so then he can cry foul, because he's trying whatever he can do to regain support from black voters in Chicago, because he's lost it. Okay, because he's done what a lot of these Democrats have done, which is they've chosen a new downtrodden to champion, quote unquote, or pretend to champion. And that is the illegal aliens. So this is one of the latest things now that Brandon Johnson is talking about and trying to make President Trump out to be the evil one. Listen.
As you well know, the city is facing a significant budget deficit and spending hundreds of millions of dollars on migrant support. How do you justify these expenditures to taxpayer concerned about other pressing needs that you just listed right there about the concerns?
Well, we are addressing those pressing needs. And the reason why we responded to this global crisis of the migrant mission was because the federal government failed to do its part. Governor Abbott spent over $220 million to ship people across America. Instead of working with Congress to actually pass substantive immigration reform policy, they wanted to create division. But we're not going to allow that to happen in the city of Chicago. Much like we fought for civil rights 60 years ago, we're going to continue to make sure that whether you are black, brown, Asian, white, young, old, working people deserve to be prioritized. And this misnomer that there's division, and consternation within communities solely based on this issue is just wrong. He's working to eliminate black history. He is trying to eliminate black existence from this country, but he's also attacking the LGBTQ+.
I wouldn't say he's trying to eliminate black existence.
We're going to bring people together in this country to make sure we build the safest, most affordable big city in America.
What an evil, slimy rat. Okay, so now because they have chosen to give social services in Chicago, he chose to give it to illegal aliens. He's blaming the Republicans like Jack Abbott for shipping them there. And the reason that the conservative governors did that is because these cities like Chicago declared themselves to be sanctuary cities, and they wanted all of them. So here they come. So now he knows that black people have decided, oh, hey, you've chosen them over us. And now he's trying to regain favor in the black community. But guess what? They're not having it. Listen to what this Chicago resident said to his face.
You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaigned, you campaign and doubled down that you would not raise property taxes.
I won't raise your property taxes.
You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this right here first. Yeah. Please come here first. Don't spend our tax dollars to go. Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. That's cool because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna ride? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
This was gonna happen to you. You got Cash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're gonna have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's gonna be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment.
Nervous.
Conviction. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to happen to you.
Letting them know. You're going to deal with Pam Bundy. They're coming in. Telling you. These Chicago people ain't going to take it no more. They're on to you, Brandon Johnson, and I am so proud. I am so proud. Because if you listen to this show for any length of time, you know that I am so desirous of black people breaking free from that hold that these racist Democrats have on them. The racist white Democrats that run the party, and anybody else who follows their orders to manipulate black voters like Brandon Johnson. He doesn't care about black people. He doesn't care about brown people. He doesn't care about any people except his bosses in the Democrat Party, and he cares about himself. That's it. And it almost brings me to tears to hear people standing up and saying, that's it. We see what you're doing. I mean, you know how much courage it takes for these black people to show up at a town, city council meeting and places like that and these hearings and do this stuff? But they know what they're talking about. And I'm glad they're fed up. We're all fed up with these commucrats. Trash. Just trash. All right. Maybe we'll get to that Jasmine Crockett stuff coming up next. Hang on.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, it is going strong. The TJ Ritchie Show. It's my new political podcast on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT, and you need to sign up and get all the inside scoop on everything and get the special little perks by being a member of the Ritchie Gang. Be a gangster. Just go to tjritchie.com and sign up today.
Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. You all look so lovely tonight. You look so lovely, I can tell. Everybody looked lovely. We're going to do the Jasmine Crockett stuff in just a few minutes. But this has been something that I've been thinking about all day. I don't know what you would do in this situation, but there is a bird. It's a potty-mouthed parrot, they're calling it, in Massachusetts. It's in the news because it won't stop cussing. And a ton of people want him anyway. He's at a shelter there, some sort of an animal shelter. Somebody surrendered him, and he keeps, he's saying the bad cuss words. I would play a clip of it, but all you'd be able to hear is beeping, because this parrot does nothing but cuss. It says that more than 50 people from all over the U.S. and Canada have filled out forms to adopt it or buy it. Now, Why would you want a parrot that cusses all the time? That's all that the bird does is cuss. I don't get it unless you're just such an animal lover that you can't stand the thoughts of this bird getting into the wrong hands or not being given a good home or whatever. But I don't know how hard it is to deprogram a parrot after it's learned to talk. But first of all, how trashy is the owner to begin with? If you got a parrot and you just sit around and you put the time and effort into teaching him how to do nothing but cuss, that's trashy. And then if you just, at that point, take it and say, hey, I don't want it anymore, you deal with it and hand it off to somebody. But then again, if you want the bird because you think it's cool that it cusses, then you're trashy too, right? Wouldn't you think? Isaac, you're young, so a young guy, if any demographic, so to speak, would think that it's funny to have a bird that cusses, it would be your age guy. Now, would you want this bird?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with that one. I think it'd be hilarious.
What would you do with it, though? Would you have it in the house all the time, where it's cussing in front of your mama and other women and stuff? It's just cussing nonstop?
I'd put him up when the ladies came over, but I'd drink a beer with him, hang out for a little bit.
But you know how loud these things are? I mean, you can't put him in a room that he won't be heard screeching the whole time. And I can't do an impression because I can't say any of the words that this thing says.
I've never actually heard a parrot, so I don't know how loud it is. I don't know exactly what I'm getting into yet.
They are loud.
Have you ever had a parrot?
Oh, no. No. I don't think they let conservatives have exotic birds.
How cool would it be to have that thing on your shoulder all day, every day?
It wouldn't be cool for me. Yeah, you're walking around with it in public and it's just cussing at everybody. That's worse than having a T-shirt that has profanity on it, which is,
classic.
Pretty terrible. And then something else that I saw that I think we need to change in this world is the way we handle people who jump onto the field during ball games that are televised or any type of professional athletic event. When you get a fan that jumps on the field and starts running around and dodging security, faking them out and stopping the game and all of that. Now, there was one that happened years ago here in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium, and that guy got rocked. And he ended up in the hospital. I don't even know for sure that he doesn't have, long-term injuries, like lifetime injuries from that. But he got out on the field, started running around, and I think, if I remember correctly, the Panthers was playing the Packers, and maybe it was one of the Packers that leveled him. I'm not sure, but I think it was a Monday night game, back when the Panthers would be on Monday night. So yeah, that was bad. But if you get out there and start running around and they have to stop the game to round you up and get you out of there because you think it's cool, then I think the security people ought to be able to tase you, because the players are probably going to get out of the way because they don't want to be involved and they don't want to get hurt trying to subdue somebody, as long as the security guys are out there. But yeah, I think there should be something that happens to make you never, ever want to do that again, and also make anybody who watched it never want to even think about doing it. I guarantee you people who watch that guy get leveled during the Panthers game, nobody who saw that, I wouldn't think would think, all right, I'm going to jump out there on an NFL field in the middle of the game. There's got to be a deterrent involved. Because how narcissistic is that? How self-centered is that? We got all these people, 100,000 people here in this stadium came to watch the game, millions watching it on TV, and then I'm going to draw all the attention to myself by acting like an idiot. And let me tell you this too. You know what? And you peoples who are older and wiser can understand this. When they do that now, jump out of the stands and run onto the field, they call that streaking. The young people call that streaking. And this is the kind of thing that just bugs me to death. You can't just take words that have meanings and then change them. You can't just change the meaning of words. Come up with another word. Because streaking clearly means that you run through a public situation naked. That's what streaking means. Now, the young people who do this now don't take off their clothes. They just run through the situation with their clothes on, and then they call that streaking. That's not streaking. Streaking was created in the 70s, and you couldn't streak unless you had your clothes off. But people just stand by and let the language be taken. That's just like when some of the dances come back around and become popular, like with the break dancing and all. And I have to tell young people all the time, it's not called the worm. We invented it in the 80s. It's called the centipede. Did you know that, Isaac? What's called the worm now was originally called the centipede.
Never heard that before in my life.
Yeah. You know why? Because nobody has ever cared enough to tell you. You can't just change words, the definition of words. Oh, he's doing the worm. No, he's not. And I got news for you. I could do the centipede forward and backward. Change it up in midair. Popping and locking. Turbo and ozone. That's what I was doing. So I think I know, as a former almost professional breakdancer, I know it's called the centipede, not the worm. Don't even get me started on these young folk. Young folk don't know what they're doing. See, that's why young people need a me around to educate them on what not to steal and all. Don't steal the worm. Don't steal the term streak. If you're calling it a streak, it means that you're naked. You can't streak with your clothes on. Unless you take them off in mid-run. All right, now that we've cleared that up, we can move along with the show next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
Bringing the heat.
Oh, hot, hot, hot.
Whatever that means. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
That's good. All right. I promised you that we would have a moment with our most brilliant leader in Washington, D.C. No, not AOC. No. Even smarter than that. I'm talking about Representative Jazzy Felicia Crockett. Representative Jazzy Felicia Crockett went on to the live social medias, the Instagram Live or Facebook Live or something, and I went through the entire 20-something minutes of listening to her talk in the car. And I don't know. Well, I do know. I did that for you, so you wouldn't have to. I'm a giver like that. So she was talking about the president taking out the nuclear sites in Iran, decimating their ability to threaten the world. And, of course, she thinks he needs to be impeached and that he didn't come to Congress and get approval from Congress and all that. So This is the first little clip we have of her, from her car. And just listen.
We are living in this time in which there is someone who is occupying the White House who does not care about any rules, any norms, any laws, nor the Constitution, and we cannot be a civilized country if there is no law and order. So I know they may claim we law and order, blah, blah, blah. So go get the undocumented people and let's try to ship them out. Let me tell you something. They are not the people that are putting us in harm's way. It is him and his administration that is putting us in harm's way. I am telling you right now that I legitimately have had no intel whatsoever. Zero intel as a sitting member of Congress, regardless of how you feel about me, regardless of my party affiliation. No one has consulted specifically with me or anybody in my office to give us any information.
Right. Any information. Okay, listen, can you imagine if Trump would have gone to Jazzy Felicia Crockett and said, hey, I'm about to send some B-2s over there. We're going to send some decoys one way, get them looking at those, and then we're going to come in from the other side, and then we're just going to decimate them, take out their ability to do anything when it comes to enriching uranium to make a nuclear weapon. Can you imagine how long it would have taken DJ Jazzy Felicia Crockett to get to social media or in front of a camera and say, listen what Trump's about to do. He just told me Trump's about to bomb them. Y'all, we got to take cover. We got to do that and that. First of all, she doesn't know what she's talking about. You don't have to go to Congress if you're the president, if you're going to okay a mission to drop some bombs on somebody if they are a threat to you. That's not the same as declaring war on someone. And even that's iffy with what she's talking about. And then, she went on into the thing and she was, she brought race into it. And you notice how in that she said, the illegal aliens, she'd call them that, the migrants, they're not the problems. He's the problem. They're fine. We're fine. But then in a different part of her little diatribe, she said, I mean, you really need to keep your head on a swivel because there are people in this country that don't like us. And, we worry about attacks from them and all that. Well, which is it? Are they fine or are they going to attack us? It's sleeper cell terrorists. And the terrorists that are sleeper cells that are in the country were probably let in by the Democrats who ran the Biden administration, including you, who's all open borders policy. DJ Jazzy. Okay, so then she started taking questions from people and didn't really know how to answer any of them. She just kind of rambled around. And this was one of her rambling answers that I thought was the funniest.
Everything that he does is against the law. He just breaks the law. And I know that there are some people that think that I just say this stuff because I'm a Democrat. And I can tell you, I have my own issues with my own party. I'm not saying these things because I'm a Democrat. I'm saying these things because I am a black woman in America who just happens to be educated enough to know what the law is. And I can tell you that while some people want to disparage my credibility and act as if I don't know what I'm talking about, I can absolutely guarantee to you that if you Google war and authority and Constitution, you're going to see Congress. And this thing that's on my chest,
it's a medallion,
tells you that I am a member of Congress.
Mm-hmm. Don't you ever, never, ever tell me I can't Google war, authority, and the Constitution because I can do it because I'm a member of Congress. It says so right here on my necklace. Don't you ever tell me I ain't no member of Congress. Because I am, and I Googled the Constitution.
Period.
So I know what I'm talking about. I should have been informed about the war plans. I think Trump should be put in jail, and everybody who voted for him should be put in jail, because that's what the Constitution demands. I know because I am a member of Congress. My name is DJ Jazzy Felicia Crockett. Don't get it twisted. Really. And what does it have to do with anything that she's a black woman? Why does she have to throw that? Because I'm a black woman who, well, okay. The fact that you can Google and that you're in Congress, I don't see where race plays in any way in, adding to your credentials. God. Well, everything he does is basically illegal, because I Googled the Constitution. Oh, man. You know what they used to always say about Bill Clinton, that, even though you would disagree with him if you had a brain and you loved America and you weren't a liberal, but he was always the type of guy you'd say, I'd like to have a beer with him. I bet he'd be fun to have a beer with. For me, I think that's DJ Jazzy Felicia Crockett. I would like to hang out with her off the record. She may not be willing to hang out with me because I'm a conservative and I'm what do you call it? Oh, white. She doesn't seem to be a big fan of white people. Again, except for the white Democrat bosses. But let's see if we can put that together. Isaac, are you a producer like to that kind of thing where you would produce as in like setting up meetings and all for me to do things for the show and all that? Or are you just strictly you do that for Winterpool and them?
I'll see what I can do.
You don't go the extra mile for me.
I'll reach out to my people, see if they can get in touch with theirs.
Yeah. You can hang out with DJ Jazzy Felicia Crockett. You know why? Because she wears a necklace that says she's in Congress. I'm going to get me one that says WBT. That's how you know. All right. Whoa, what a fast-moving show we had tonight. Already over. I know a lot of the 11 listeners may be saying, thank God, it's already over. Woo! All right. The great one, Mark Levin, is coming up next. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Remember, God loves you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
Hey, it's TJ, and everybody in the country is talking about my new political talk show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT, and they want more. How can I get more? Well, you can get the podcast every episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just get signed up for it there. It's easy. Just go to tjritchie.com, and that will get you there.